if Kansas had trees. How are you?
We're doing
Hey.
good.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, that's a loaded question for me.
Yeah.
What isn't up?
That's fair. That's
I've been
fair.
home. I've been home for 35 minutes. I've been yelled at because I have too many shoes inside the door when you come in the house. Um, you name it. I'm already in trouble.
Well, thanks for having us on here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get married. Don't have kids. I kid. I kid. They're the
Don't
best.
don't have puppies either.
Don't have puppies either.
Yeah.
They're life ruiners.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so thank you guys for joining me. I'm glad you guys hit me up. So obviously, Joey, I know you. I've known
Yeah.
your dad for probably 20 years now. But sadly, I was not familiar with the band until you guys hit me up. And how long have you guys been together for?
Yeah, so we've been together since like late 2020, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we've been doing stuff together for a while now. I knew Stone back in the Rockology days.
Mm.
Shouts out the Rockology Music Academy. Lessons in Wilkes-Barre. Shameless plug.
Yeah, why is that so important?
Um, yeah, so Rockology is a music school that my dad started, and
Nepo baby.
yep.
Nepo baby.
And Stone and I started playing in like cover bands, uh, starting there back. I mean, Stone, I don't know how old you were. I was 16 at the time.
I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, so we've been playing together since then. And then Stone and Maddox, they can talk more about their relationship, but they've been best friends since middle school. And it was kind of like after the pandemic, things were starting to open up again. And I was keeping in touch with Stone, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to start a band." And I was like, "I'm all for it." We all have similar music interests, similar tastes. We got together, and the first time we got together, we wrote a song. Um, and they're laughing because it's a song that they don't love, they don't like that much anymore.
What song is
But
that?
it's actually on our EP, our self-titled EP, Away.
Yeah, the old one. It's our like least streamed song. We look back on that song and laugh a little bit, but
Yeah.
important
Why do
stepping
you
stone.
why do you laugh?
I personally like Joey said, it was very much we wrote it the first time we were ever together, and I can't speak for the two of them, but I can say that for myself, that was the first piece of original music I'd ever written. I started playing guitar in like middle school, and I was for all intents and purposes like a bedroom guitarist, doing covers of my favorite bands and stuff like that, never really writing. And so that was like the first experience I ever had with writing. And I think we were all just super giddy that like we kind of had enough chemistry to write something in like an hour and a half that we wrote it. Um, and I think it's a healthy kind of way we look back on it in a way, for as much as we kind of joke about it. But the reason we have that perspective now is because we think we've grown so much as both musicians and writers since then, since that was like our first foray into writing. And that's like, the first thing we ever wrote, and we're like, man, that it kind of sucks. Not because not because of this or that, but just because we think we've grown so much. And it's funny to reflect back on how we view our music now, and that was our first song.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's with any artist, whether it's a musician or someone who's drawing or writing a book. Like you look back on your original stuff, it's like it's not supposed to be perfect, right? Like
Yeah.
and that's kind of cool that we have. I mean, we've been recording music for how long now, right? But like it's a different age where it's a lot easier to record. So you have that recording now, like and it's just so it's easily accessible to you. It's and you can like really see how much you've grown, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty cool too. Well, actually, I should say it's funny. Because after we wrote this first song, Away, which we joke about and say is not a good song, we actually wrote one that was way, way, way worse. Like just an abomination of a song. And we never talk about it.
This is
And
leaking information. I'm surprised you're
Yeah,
talking
we're even
about this
bringing it
right
up.
now.
It's never seen the light of day.
never. I think
Okay.
I think maybe we played it once and like we didn't even have to say anything to each other. We were like, this song is just fucking terrible. It was like the hottest pile of garbage you could put together. it was really funny. Like I think
After that song, I never picked up the guitar in the band ever again. Too.
Yeah.
That was the last time I picked up the guitar for this band. I strictly moved to bass from then on.
mm, but it was funny because like the first song we wrote, Away, um Maddox and I were very inexperienced with like added production layers or just like leads on the guitar. And Joey actually wrote the leads for that song, which is funny because like I don't think since then Joey's written a lead for a song, which is not a problem, but like it's just funny looking back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just really shows how much we've grown and I think how much we've changed too. I mean, it was like we've been through a lot with each other over this time period, late 2020, early 2021 to now it's 2024. And just how we look at approaching writing music. Like we've got a system down now. I mean, we don't, it's not like we follow a step-by-step process, but we kind of know each other's roles a lot better and we trust each other in certain places that's more reliable and more lenient on each other. That is like, all right, I know that Maddox gonna pick up this part here, so I'm gonna work on this. Or I know Stone's gonna do a crazy drum part here, so I'm gonna let that part breathe. So it's like it's all different stuff that like now looking back at it, we had no idea what those roles were, and it where we thought we were gonna be is just like nothing that we thought was gonna happen.
Yeah. Also, we being that Joey was in college and Maddox and I were also leaving for college, we had to establish a different kind of way of writing where Joey's school, which does trimesters, was different than Maddox and I, who did semesters. So Maddox and I would come home and we would crank out like the skeletons of songs, and they really wouldn't have much there because when you write a song, you want it to kind of be like a roller coaster. And when Maddox and I would write the song, it was just like we were going up the entire way, and then it just had the quickest drop down, and then it was over. So then we would wait until we could find time to be with Joey, and it would typically be a couple months in advance. And he would really help with like structuring and um like flow of the song, which is interesting because I wonder like had we been able to be together for all this time just in the same area, like would our writing style be different? Because now I don't really think we'll approach writing any different way other than Maddox and I starting with these skeletons and then taking them to Joey where he arranges everything.
Yeah, it's cool. I kind of like see it as a puzzle. Like they give me the pieces to a puzzle and I get to put them together. And not that I get to do it myself. There's always input from them as well. But like I'll hear a part and be like, oh, repeat that there. And like, oh, come back to this. Or that sounds like a verse or that sounds like a chorus. And I think that's for me one of the most fun part, aside from writing lyrics. Probably the most fun I have when writing songs is when they come with just like all right, we have this, and they just play it all the way through, and it's like a minute and a half long, or like almost 2 minutes. It's like, all right, we got to turn that into a song. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I'd really be curious to hear like the first couple songs because the songs that are available on Spotify right now, and I thought it was an EP, but I was quickly corrected before we started this. But there's 4 songs on Spotify right now. Decay, Anything Right, Swallow, Where You Thought You Would Be. And they're all really good songs. They're all solid. Like I would be very curious to see uh the process when you first started to where you're at now because it sounds like it's night and day. But I mean, it's been 4 years, right? It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that should have happened, but these songs are really good. I think Anything
Thanks.
Right out of the songs you released so far off of this upcoming album. I was bitching before because when it's listed on Spotify, it says EP and it says Decay. So I'm like, oh, you have an EP out, and it's the EP is called Decay. You're like, no, no, idiot. We have an album coming out. These are the 4 songs we've released off the album so far. So, um, album due out in June 7th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be our debut album called Where You Thought You Would Be, after that track. And I think kind of elaborating on that approach, the reason it's kind of set up and released in the way that it is because we wrote and recorded the older of those the older three of those songs, Anything Right, Where You Thought You Would Be, and Swallow, um, like over Christmas break between what 2022 and 2023, and then released them in early 2023. And at the time, we just kind of saw them as one-offs. We kind of waterfalled those three singles throughout the first few months of 2023, and they did their thing. And so when we came back for the summer last year, we kind of Stone and I got to writing, as he said. We started cranking out a lot of structures and skeletons, and as we started to get a healthy batch of songs, 7 or 8 songs, we started to consider what an album would look like. And that's when the theme of Where You Thought You Would Be started coming up a lot in what we were writing, musical themes, lyrical themes. And we're like, okay, these singles, we really like um how we've conveyed ourselves on these singles. They did pretty well for us. They opened up a lot of doors for us, and so we wanted to kind of include those on the first album. So it's kind of funny. It wasn't like, okay, we have the album done, here are the singles we're releasing. It was, here's 3 random songs we're releasing, and oh, I guess we're going to kind of build an album kind of around it, which I think is pretty much a product of what Stone said, of us being all apart and at school, and just how that dynamic works.
And what do you guys write about? You're all pretty young. You're all in different phases of your life. You think about bands like, Blink 182 and what they wrote about when they were super young compared to what they're writing about now. Where you guys at as far as topics at this point in your lives?
Yeah, I think the whole idea where you thought you would be is encapsulates everything. We are talking about this time in our life. We were like when we first started writing the album, we didn't know it was going to be album, but it happened like this. It was this post-pandemic time where we were figuring out what's happening. What's like, oh, we're talking about where we're going to college, what colleges we're picking. Oh, now we're in college, deciding what you're going to study. And then now I graduated on Tuesday and I'm
Like 2 days
here.
ago, Tuesday?
Yeah, 2 days ago, Tuesday.
Damn.
I graduated college and I'm back to that idea of where you thought you would be. And it's like so much time. Everyone says like, oh, your early 20s, your college years, like best years of your life. But it's also unrecognized when looking back through the cloudy vision of nostalgia that there's so much uncertainty going
Mhm.
on and so many huge decisions that your life is could be anything and you have no idea what it's going to be, and this is us deciphering that, and this is us going through this process of figuring out where you thought you would be. So when you ask about what we write about, I'm a huge nerd when it comes to albums. Like you consume the entire album, and I'm like a big Pine Grove fan, and they do a lot of self-referential stories throughout an album. This isn't like a concept album. I guess it kind of is, but not really. This isn't like there's not a story, but I feel like there's characters in this album, and you see their journey. And lyrically, I like to make self-references all the time. So in one song, it's the lyric is who I was is a memory. And then in the last song of the album, it's I'll mourn the person I used to be. So it's like that same person reflecting on themselves, of that person that they used to know that is themselves is no longer there, and they'll mourn that person. And so that's like a big part for me. And there's another one where it's in Anything Right, it's like I want to see you again, and then like I'm not, and then it's like I don't think I'm going to see you again, and then that comes back in circles where it's I'm not trying to see you again,
Mhm.
and it's like a whole like I love doing that where it's separate songs but they're so self-referential, and even in like our licks and our riffs are also self-referential too. So yeah.
I
Um, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just piggybacking kind of off of what he said. Yeah, it's just kind of everything about this uncertainty period of adolescence, and I think even though there are kind of nuanced different topics about that, they all kind of convey a same sort of feeling and uncertainty and anxiety about the future and where you're at, because I have only a few lyrical passages on the album, and I wrote a lot of mine about the routine I'm in with school and balancing school and the constraints that come with that. And yeah, that's a song title. That's why Joey's smiling. That's what the song Constraint is about. And and Joey's are about things like that, but also about relationships, romantic, platonic, any sort of personal relationships, his relationship with himself. And even though those are kind of different things, they all make up the greater picture of what it's like to be 19, 20, 21, 22, the age ranges that across, the three of us we were through writing this album and recording this album, just all those things that kind of hit you in the face and you have to think about.
Outside of like a songwriting place, what's it like being those ages? And I asked that question because I'm basically twice your age. I'm 41. Um, it's a world of a difference, right? And I think you kind of said that this Maddox, but you kind of alluded. It's like there's a lot of do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on yourselves? You're in college or you're finishing college. Is it stressful like to like kind of not know where things are gonna go or pressure like you have to figure it out right now? Because now that I'm the age that I am and I've been through all of that, like I kind of get angry at the fact like you're kind of forced into these places where you're 18 and you have to decide, okay, I'm gonna go to college for X, Y, or Z. I'm gonna do this for 4 years, and then you're just like, and it's different probably for me than it is for you because back when I was your age, like when I was 18, our parents they painted this picture of like, go to school, get good grades, get into a college, get good grades, graduate college, get a good job, get a house, get a white picket fence, and everything's gonna be perfect, right? And I think that's bullshit. And it's not that they were leading us in the wrong direction. I mean, they had our best intentions at heart, right? But like the world doesn't work like that, I feel like these days. So what's it like being 20, 21, 22 years old in 2024, pandemics? I don't even know how old I guess you probably would have been, were you even 20, you even born yet when 9/11 happened? Like,
I was
No.
one.
yeah, you were one. So it's like, and then the internet, cell phones, and like, the world changes so fast.
Mhm.
So I mean, like, what's it like being your age right now? Like,
I mean, if you want me to turn this into one of my therapy sessions, we can.
no, I mean that's the joy of this podcast. Like, I obviously let's talk about the music, and got the new album coming out June 7th. But like, I also want to talk to you guys about what life is like. I mean, that's why I started this podcast because I had a radio show at one point, and you can do a radio show interview, and it's like 1 minute long. It's like, okay, guys, you have an album out, great. How long you been together for? What's the name of the band mean? Okay, we'll see you later. This is an opportunity to kind of like dig deep and like talk about who you are as individuals, and if you want to talk about therapy, like, you could do that too. But it's great. Like the world changes so fast, and I'm still trying to navigate it. I mean, like I have kids, and I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna kind
Yeah.
of help them go through the world. And Joey, I mean, like, your dad's, he's older than me, but not by a ton, right? Like he probably had no idea and I mean, and he's navigated the world, and your grandfather with like records and CDs and all that changed because of like, uh, digital music, and it's like everything happens so fast. And I'm probably rambling, and I'm sorry, but like, talk to me about being, young men, 20, 21, 22 years old and in this world and just kind of navigating all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Stone, you want to take the lead on that one?
I mean, I can. For me, I've never really had a damn clue what I was going to do post graduation, and I still have no idea. Because I've changed what I was studying 4 times now, and each college I applied to was a different field of study. So for me, like the one thing that's been a constant for me that I've always known I've wanted to be involved in as much as I can for the longest period of time possible is the arts, or are the arts, I should say. Like I had an awful year this past year where I was like tired of what I was studying. I realized that solitary work wasn't for me. And it's like, how am I supposed to know this at 18 years old before applying to college? And like, I wish I had a boost or like I'm not saying I don't, but I wish I had someone push me to follow through with music and like me not wait to realize that's what I should be doing until I was 21. Like I wish I knew it from the start because I would have just been like guns blazing trying to do that. So for me personally, I'm like stuck in this weird state of knowing that I'm gonna have to work a bullshit job when I graduate while I'm trying to find work as a musician. And it kind of sucks because like I'm gonna be in agony while I'm working a shitty office jobs, not even office job, but probably will be an office job somewhere. While I'm just like busting my ass trying to be a musician, trying to find people to work with, trying to keep playing shows. Um, and like it also sucks because I don't even know if me playing music for as long as I'd like to is in the cards. I hope it is, but I'm stuck with that too, where like I don't know. I kind of feel like shit sometimes because all I want to do is make that happen, but I have no idea what's going to happen. And I have one more year left of school and maybe graduate school, but I hope not because I'd rather be doing other things than being in school for even longer. And I know it's like probably a little bit different for Maddox and Joey, but that's where I'm at. And unfortunately, I didn't write a damn lyric on this album, so I didn't speak on that much. Maybe in the future, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
That's fair. I mean, it sucks too because unfortunately, like anything else, and especially I think with arts and music and shit like that, like unfortunately, you're not gonna write a one song and then blow up and tour like fucking Aerosmith or whatever. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like you gotta like grind it out. And
Well, I mean, that's in the cards for us, though. I mean, that's gonna happen with
I
us.
hope so, dude. I fucking hope so. I hope.
I'm just kidding.
I know, dude. I hope so. You guys seem like really nice kids, and I mean, like, fuck, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But it sucks.
I think it's so interesting. Like all three of us are gonna have wildly different answers to this question. And I mean, ask anybody, they're gonna have a wildly different answer to this question. I think there's nothing common about. I mean, there's overlapping commonalities of this young adult experience, but everyone has their unique story. Everyone has their unique experience, and I mean, for me, like what this band is, and like compared to what like going to school is like figuring out time to do this while also trying to do everything else in life is, and like that's such a struggle. Like we would be playing shows out in West Virginia, and on like we play Friday night in West Virginia and Saturday night in Pittsburgh, and I went to school in New Jersey, and like trying to make that happen. Like, and I was like with all of like everyone has a lot of responsibilities. I was the program director at our radio station, WSOU. Um, Shouts out. We won the Marconi Award for best college radio station in the country,
Nice.
2023.
Damn.
We played heavy metal all day, every day.
Oh man.
Um, and anyway, like doing that, like, and I spoke at conferences and went to conferences in like Orlando, Baltimore, and then also being in the band of like trying to do shows as much as possible. We actually played at my school, like we played in West Virginia, we played back home in NEPA, and we played in Philly, like all while doing this. And it's like also while like going through these like crazy mental health episodes is,
Mhm.
and like balancing everything is just like so insane. And I like, there's days you would go by and then like you're doing 1,000 things at once and you feel great and you feel awesome. And there's other days where your screen time on your phone is like 12 hours a day. And like you're scrolling TikTok for hours upon hours. And it's like, I think that is something not unique to me. Um, but it's like I don't know. It's just insane that like we have all of this stuff at our fingertips, and what we most often do is just stare at it and just consume. And I don't know. I'm rambling off on.
No, but it's probably a distraction though, to a degree, right?
Mhm.
Oh, 100%. I don't want to be on my phone 12
Right.
hours a day. Like, I want to be doing something productive, or I want to be like getting work done or trying to write songs or like planning shows, booking stuff. But it's like thing that's in like this thing that's
Sucked
impossible to get
in.
away from.
It's sucked in. Yeah.
And the
And
shitty thing is that in order to book shows, you have to do it on your
Have to
damn
be
phone.
on it.
'Cause I'm
Yeah.
not logging into Instagram on my laptop because like I'm just not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm on my phone and I'm like reaching out to all these random contacts. And then like, you know what? I'm not searching people. Guess what? Reels are right there. And I'm
Yeah.
on Reels more than like probably anybody in this band. It's really bad.
It's hard. And I talked about having kids and having to help them navigate this life. And it's kind of the same for you guys. Like, I didn't start texting on a phone until I was 20 years old. Like, think about that. And even then, it was very limited because like it still cost money to send a text. So like I was still on my parents' phone bill. Like, so I couldn't abuse it because then they yell at me. Like, I didn't start texting until I was 20. And then, I mean, I didn't have it was MySpace and Facebook. I was 22, 23. I mean, you guys are like out of the womb, like, oh, social media. Oh, cool. Which it's
My-
yeah,
like it sucks. Like it's terrible. Like,
and I think it's like if you and now you're gonna ask Maddox this question, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I was studying aerospace engineering while doing all this." Like as he sips his from his mug calmly and casually. Um, but like, yeah, I remember my first phone. It was a flip phone. I had minutes on it, and like there was one point where it was more cost effective to get an actual phone because I was texting on it too much. I would be using too many minutes. And that's the problem. Like I also on this phone are all of my friends.
right.
And also on this device where if I'm in New Jersey and I want to talk to Maddox and Stone and they're in West Virginia and Pittsburgh, they're a click away. Um, and
Which is
and
also
that's
awesome.
right. That's awesome. But then the 95% of the other time I spend on my phone is horrible.
Yeah. It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, definitely. I
Like,
I like even as someone who wants to be involved in the arts, like you need to use your phone to amplify your voice as an artist. It's impossible. I mean, yeah, like I said, you can log into Instagram on your computer, but seriously, like Instagram and TikTok, especially now, it used to be as a drummer, you could post a drum cover on YouTube and people would sit through the full 5 minutes of your cover. But now you have to take like the best 45 seconds to a minute of the song and post it on TikTok. And most of the time, people don't even watch that because it's too long.
mhm.
And yeah, I mean, like, it's just one of those things where it's really inescapable. You just can't avoid using your phone when you're trying to not make it as a musician, but like, grow yourself.
Promote yourself. Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
And I think it is somewhat difficult not to get sucked up into the kind of viral trap. I mean, even in what I would consider like an alternative or underground type of realm, which our music is, we're an emo band, we're a punk band, but we take elements of hardcore and this and grunge and things like that. Bands like Title Fight and Super Heaven and Basement right now are arguably bigger than they've ever been because they've had one of their songs, 45 seconds of one of their songs go huge on TikTok and expose them to an audience they've never before seen. Pine Grove, like many others. I'm just naming the obvious ones like in our realm and in bands that we know. Um, it happens in every genre. It's just, and as a small musician, it's kind of hard to not have those big eyes seeing something like that and being like, well, all we need is just that one reel, that one TikTok to go, and then we're gonna be huge. And then, like you said, then our Europe tour is booked, and then that's all it takes. It's really hard to see all these other bands. Now, these are way more established bands than we are to begin with, but I think it's still like those are just some examples. There are other artists that weren't even established before that literally were making music in their bedroom and they had one or two big reels or TikToks go big and all of a sudden they're on Atlantic or something like that and they're doing an arena tour and it's um for as much as we may try and pride ourselves on being logical and keeping ourselves grounded, it's just really hard not to get caught up in that trap. It's just it's a candy that's too sweet. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a very interesting dynamic that you kind of have to be aware of and cognizant of as a musician now and being our age and trying to kind of get our name out there because it's like I don't want to have to, I want to grow a following by playing shows, by us going to shows and making connections with people, even if we're not playing, just being involved in the scene because that's what we like to do. And you feel like you're almost like a step behind if you're not posting a TikTok daily or
Mhm.
posting a reel or hey man, we haven't put anything on the Instagram story in 3 days. We should probably get on that. And oh well, you do this and do that, and that's how you get in the algorithm. What the hell is the algorithm? And I think it's just
Gotta
it's a very
post.
it's
You gotta post. Did we just make the song of the summer?
yeah. Did
Did
we
we
just
just
make
drop
the
the
song of
album
the
of the
summer?
summer?
I
And
wrote this song from the perspective of depression.
yeah, it's like there's
Leave
so
nothing
many
up to the imagination.
so
Nothing.
many tropes now, and I think it's just a very interesting world to navigate um as a band. Social media, it's the double-edged sword.
It really is. I mean, the internet in general, I think, is such a blessing and a curse, and I feel like I say that every episode, and then here we are on the internet doing this interview.
Yeah.
Um, it's tough. It's tough. Like, and you know, I I have to be on the internet and on social media too, like for work, right? I work in radio. I work primarily in sales. I do a shift on Rock 107. I do this podcast, right? So like I have to be like kind of like in the know of like new businesses opening up or like a grand opening or a year anniversary thing or and just be aware of all this stuff going on so that way if like someone wants to advertise I can contact them or whatever it might be or a new band or a show or promoting this podcast. And it's like it's hard because I don't promote it for me, right? Of course I want people to listen to it, but I want to promote it so people who may not have heard of you guys hear of you guys and all that kind of stuff. But like for me as a 41-year-old who like had the internet for a little over half of his life, it's like it's weird for me to like take selfies and do any kind of that stuff of that those things.
That's weird
Because
for us too.
well, but yeah, it's weird for you, right? But like, imagine being me.
Yeah.
It's more normal for you guys, right? But like, I still understand why. Yeah, it's weird, but it's like something you have to do. So it's like you're constantly like, oh, like you said, like, oh, we haven't posted in 3 days, and then there's times where that just so you kind of get beat down or you get discouraged because you haven't done it, and like no one's liking, no one's interacting. There's no new followers, there's no new views, like. I just released an episode of the podcast today with the guy from Cash Cab. You
I
guys
saw
probably
that.
don't know who that is, but um, that for me was a kind of a cool fucking thing. And I'm gonna look right now, and it has 4 views on YouTube, and then 43 on like a. So the video version on YouTube has 4 views, and then like the podcast audio only on YouTube has 43. I don't even know how that's fucking possible. Like, why would you listen to it and not watch it? But whatever. But you do that, and it's like, man, like no one gives a shit. No one
Mhm.
cares. Like, am I not doing something right? Like, do I need to do more? Like, how can I do more? I've got, today I worked all day. I ran home, picked up my son, took him to a Rail Riders game, came back, uh, fucked with the pool, uh, took a shit, and then I was late coming to see you guys. Like, it's
It's like where do you find time to keep up with that and do what you
right,
think is what you think you have to do to
right,
hit through?
right. And
It's
I mean,
also like how are we deserve like for us at least it's like how are we deserving of your attention? It's like we're three kids from northeastern Pennsylvania making music. Sure, we think it's cool, it's fun, but it's like we were talking about it about the album. It's like like this album we could put it out and nobody cares. And it's like we have to be ready for that.
yeah.
and it's like we could put it out, and like hopefully looking at the numbers, hopefully that's not going to happen, and hopefully that's not true. But it's
Right.
like we have to talk about, all right, well, are we doing vinyl? Are we like that was like a big thing for me, like, oh, are we doing CDs? Like, and if so, like, A, like that's an investment, whatever, but it's also like, who cares? Like, not to be rude, like, not
Yeah.
like that's just like
It's
the
reality. It's reality. Like,
and it's like, yeah, like it's also hard to say that we're deserving of other people's attention when it's like, yeah, you have to go pick up your son, you have to go do shit with the pool, you have to go drop him off like you have to do
Take a
all
shit.
everyone has, yeah, you have to take a shit. I was trying to avoid that one.
I had
um
to.
you have to do all this stuff, and it's like, all right, then that's why we're also so grateful for anyone that has listened to anything, or
Right.
that has consumed anything about us, or even just follows us, or has gone to any of our shows, or has bought a shirt. It's like, thank you for, I know, like, everyone is so busy. Like, it's no, nobody's not busy. And it's like, just we're so appreciative of anybody that's listened to us once or 100 times, or even just knows, if they can guess close to our name. If Kansas, but like we're just so thankful and grateful for all of that, because um it being on the other side as a consumer, it's really hard. It's like it's easy as someone putting out something in the world, like, oh, people should care about this, it's cool. But then you're just like, as someone who consumes something, it's like, oh, I only care about the stuff I care about. Why would I
Yeah.
care about anything else?
Well, we've kind of talked about some like the doom and gloom and the mental health and the pitfalls of the internet and shit like that. Like, let's talk about the good stuff because obviously it's been for 4 years now. We got four great songs out available on Spotify and other streaming services. Got a new album out due out June 7th. Like, talk about the good stuff. I mean, obviously, like, you have a show, a big show on June 27th, with One Step Closer, great band as well. Like, let's talk about the good stuff. Like, let's talk about the shows that you've played, the positive reactions you've got from people in attendance, and just some of the followers you've gained over the past few years.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying, and a lot of people who are going to end up listening to this know just how deep and how talented our area is,
Yeah.
in all facets of the arts, but especially in music. I mean, you can go down the laundry list of bands that have become career musicians out of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. And I think one of the most fulfilling things for me over these past 4 years is just the connections I've been able to make, the friendships I've been able to make, the other awesome music I've really been able to be exposed to just by, being part of the scene. I'm a big believer of, like, the, like, misinterpreting the John F. Kennedy quote of, like, ask not what the scene can do for you, but what you can do for the scene. And yeah, I know we should get that on a t-shirt. But
It's not a bad idea.
you know what I mean? Just kind of there's a mental switch of that, because at first you're just like, oh, we're this super small band, and like Joey said, anyone who gives two shits about us enough to let us be the 15-minute opening slot at their bill, wherever. And that was, so it came, we started from a place of survival, almost, of like, okay, we just need to get a show, we need to get a show. And then once we started to get footing and recognize these people that are coming to the shows, the regulars, so to speak, the people involved in the scene, that's what it, for me at least, it really became more about. I mean, I just enjoy going to shows. I enjoy seeing the people that are there. I enjoy seeing um new acts, or acts even I've seen before, just because we have such a rich scene, and being a part of that just uplifts you as a musician in that scene enough. Really just going out and showing, rather than just being like, okay, the only time I'm going to this show is when I'm on the show, or when my absolute best friend is on the show. I every time we're home, we try and make it out just to say hi to everybody, just because it's a good time. That's what I've really liked about it. You know, I want this band to work out, not because I want to, like, be huge and go play arenas and stuff like that. I want to just be able to play shows and be exposed to like-minded individuals like we have been, especially in this last year or two as we started to get traction. Like if we can have our gas covered to travel and do these shows and get to hang out with these people and just have fun and play music and have a shared view on life that a lot of these people have and shared interests. That's what it's about for me, and that's what the band the last couple years, especially, like I said, as we've started to get people that have followed us and recognize us, that's been one of the more rewarding things for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the people, I mean, Maddox hit it right in the head. I mean, he- like we've made so many friends and like been exposed to so much good music just through the scene, like Channel 65, Foch, Pucker Up. Like there's so many like bands that like we like playing with that are like small and like, none of us are huge or anything, but we put out like good music. Listen to the Channel 65 record, like listen to the Pucker Up 3 CEP, look into the new Foch
Oh,
album.
I gotta get it with Foch. I've dropped the ball on that. They sent me the music and I have not. And
They're
it's
our
good. It's good
best
too.
friends. We love
Oh,
them.
they're so good.
You
Yeah,
could-
and shout out to those guys. And Pucker Up. Amazing. Like I and Maddox, you kind of said it before. Like I would put this area up against any other city
Yeah.
across the
Yeah,
country.
us too. I think
Yeah.
it's like I posted a comment on a video that I saw a couple weeks ago just about this guy who was talking about all these bands from Pennsylvania that he likes, and then I just like typed out a list of all the current bands in the Wilkes-Barre scene and the Scranton scene. And I think the comment alone, I think Nico saw it, and then like I think Tanner from Pucker Up saw it, and it got like 100 likes or something. And it was just like Channel 65, Foch, Pucker Up, One Step Closer, Wild Red, like Choice to Make, just all those bands. It's just ridiculous the like diaspora of bands from around our area that just it's not even like the size, it's just their dedication to the area and keeping the music scene alive around home. Because like we don't have that many venues to play at back home, but
I
all of these
wish.
bands still survive just because they want to.
Yeah.
it is will. It is by like sheer will to keep
Yeah,
everything afloat that these bands, and there's so many shout outs and so many thank yous that like are in order for that. And it's just I think for all of us, that's just one of the most rewarding parts of being in the scene. And I think another one to kind of go off of that and pivot a bit is just with a lot of the bigger bands in the area, just the kind of I don't want to say like, but like mentorship and advice that a lot of these artists and bands, and just how down to earth they are. I mean, we've crossed paths with the guys in Title Fight and the people in Tiger's Jaw, and we have the pleasure of being pretty close with the One Step Closer guys. Like these bands that are career musicians that are going out and like doing the thing, and they're just at the shows too. They're coming to the shows. They're there to support, and you go up and you ask them like, "Hey, we're trying to get booked here," or like, and they'll help you out. They'll give you advice. So they'll point you in the right direction, like it's nothing, like they were in your shoes
Yeah.
5, 10, 20, however long, many years ago. And I think that also is a reason why our scene is so strong, is the people who are at like the top, so to speak, don't even feel like they're at the top. They're part of the greater scene. They're part of the bubble. They're part of that network. And I think if it were any different, we wouldn't be as strong top to bottom.
Well, 20 years ago, it was different. 20 years ago, it's such a, I say this a lot too. It's such a cool thing to have seen the transition because 20 years ago, it was a very cutthroat scene. It was um every band and I get it, right? Like, yeah, you think you're the best, you think you deserve, this show, or you think you're better than that band, but it's very cutthroat, and it was kind of like, if you see both. I've seen both sides now, and it's like it was so gross back then, and so it's so cool to see it now where it is, and you hit it again, Maddox, just talking about like all these bands and how they're so supportive of each other. And I it's weird because I mean I grew up watching Michael Jordan, right? Like he just wanted to kill you. Like he wanted to bury you. So I think a lot of that comes from that mentality, right? Um, if if you're not on my team, like you're the enemy. I get that. Um, I still like that a little bit. I still like that little bit of an edge, right? But being part of this, like, I remember when my radio show got canceled that had the local music, feature on Saturday nights. I was devastated because I was so passionate and I was so I got pumped up. I'm so excited now to talk to you guys about all this stuff that's going on. And so I'm happy that I get to kind of still be a part of it by doing this kind of stuff. And we have a great scene, and I would put up anybody against any
Yeah.
other city.
Yeah,
And
I
it's great.
I think to kind of go off of that one thing you said, you think that that little bit of edge is necessary to an extent. And I think we've certainly tried to embody that. And there's a good number of other bands that kind of have that kind of, if you're not on my team, like I'm kind of out for blood. I kind of want to kill you. And like how that shapes up for us is our team is just the Scranton Wilkes-Barre scene. Like
Right.
we joke and it's maybe a bit of irony, but like we actually mean it of like 2023, 2024, 2025. These are the years like Wilkes-Barre's back, like
Mhm.
things like that. When, like I said, is it half joking, a little bit of ironic arrogance, so to speak? Yes, but we also kind of mean it. It's like we are rooting for everyone else in this scene over anyone else from any other area. Like I want to see those other bands succeed. I want to see them succeed because if they succeed, we all succeed, sort of thing. And so it's kind of we've adopted that kind of, as funny as it sounds to say,
I
but just
love that. I love that,
Wilkes-Barre
dude.
versus the world sort of thing.
That's a great outlook. I love that.
Yeah, I the way we see it at least, and especially with our super, super close cohort of like us, Foch, Pucker Up, Paul, and those, it's like we climb up a rung on the ladder and we're bringing you up with us. And then you climb a rung higher and you bring us up. Like, I think with that, we've already seen, we ran a weekender earlier this spring with Pucker Up and Foch. And it went really well. And it was so much fun to just play with those artists. And I think it was all of our first time playing in State College was one of the shows too. And it was just like we just hauled each other up. We made sure there was no man left behind, sort of thing. And it goes both ways. It goes everywhere. There are so many acts to mention, so many awesome people to mention that I feel like it'd be a disservice to try and go through all of them, but there's just so many.
Yeah.
But I think it just all stems down to that kind of Wilkes-Barre or Scranton Wilkes-Barre versus the world attitude that a lot of bands right now, especially a lot of the young bands, are starting to exemplify, whether it's again from a like an internet machismo sort of perspective or not, there's a little truth behind it. And I think that's that little bit of edge that you're talking about.
No, I love that. You nailed it. That's perfect. Joey, we've been talking about your dad, and I kind of I know who your dad is. You know who your dad is. You guys know who Joey's dad is. Gallery of Sound, Joe Rosen's Gallery of Sound. Been in the family for how long now? I mean,
Been in business I think last summer was 50 years.
a staple in NEPA. I mean, that's where you go to buy records. That's where you go to buy CDs and local music and national music. But can you get your dad to open up a venue? Come on, dude. Like, let's go. I mean, I'll be like a silent like 2% owner. I have no money. I have no money.
I mean, there's been my dad's done a lot of stuff, gallery sound, rockology.
Yeah.
Um
But we need like what I'm getting at is like, so Scranton's kind of like, I feel like on the come up. I mean, the pandemic crushed a lot of shit. I feel like the local scene here was like at its like almost at its peak, if not at its peak, right like the year of 2020, and obviously that the pandemic fucking crushed everything. But like there, I feel like now the Ritz is there. There's the V Spot. There's some other places in Scranton that I can't think of off the top of my head. But like the
Harry's is
works,
doing shows
Harry's is doing Harry's is doing some stuff like
backyard, the bog.
right. So but like in the southern tier of any PA, like the southern border of that Pittston, because people won't travel. If you live in Wilkes-Barre, God forbid you travel to Scranton and vice versa, right? We need a venue. I mean, we had Carl Hall. Unfortunately, that closed. We had the Jazz Cafe, right? But we don't have much outside of that. Like, we need another like, good venue, mid-sized venue in Wilkes-Barre.
Listen, you got to hit up my dad.
I might.
He
I feel like it's almost my calling. I've been saying this to some people. Like, I feel like I owe it to this area to like have a venue. Like, I would, because I mean, I do this podcast. I'm so passionate about musicians and local music, and I would love to even see like people passing through be have a place to play. I mean, I have people in New York that I talk to. Just hit me up today. As a matter of fact, hey, like, can we get on a show? We're passing through. We're coming from New York down, to Virginia, whatever. Like, I would love to be like, yeah, dude, my club's got a show that night. You're gonna pop on for fucking 15 minutes. Who cares?
Mhm.
But I have no fucking money, and clubs don't make money, especially if you don't have a fucking bar, which
Yeah.
sucks. But it is what it is.
Well, I think that's the key marker there. It's an investment of a lot of time and a lot of money. And I mean, ask anybody that's ran a venue. It's tough.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so appreciative of anybody that does run a venue. Like I mean, we're this tour that we're doing, it's a lot of house shows, and like just
Yeah, talk
watching.
about that. You're
Yeah.
you're you're, you're doing a tour. So let's talk about that. Perfect segue. Talk about that.
Yeah.
So
You want to take it or you want me?
I just want to finish my thought.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry we're
No,
doing that to you.
no, you're good. No. Like just anybody that runs venues, or like we stop at a lot of house shows, and like there's like a meme on the internet. It's like, yeah, like shout out to Skunk who like got this bill together, and like Scene wouldn't be here without you. But like that's true. Like there's like random ass like people that like when we're out in Pittsburgh, like it's a dusty basement and we go in there and play. And it's like, I don't want people in my house. I don't want people in my basement
You're right.
spilling beer
Yeah.
or falling over or being a liability, knocking lights out, using my bathroom.
Of
It's
course.
like, so we're so appreciative of all the people that do that. And like, playing bars and stuff is cool, but there's always something different about a house show. And I think we always say that. Like we love playing the bars, we love playing like smaller venues, stuff like that. And like, maybe as we graduate to larger venues, we'll start appreciating that more. But even if we don't, there's just something different about a basement show that there could be nobody there that knows who you are, but they're there for a good time. And if you rock the place, they'll appreciate it. And there's nothing like a house show. And like, like Maddox said, like we'll make enough to cover gas, and like that's all we need. Um, and yeah, sorry, but yeah, tour. I know Stone, you did a lot of the booking. Maddox, you did a lot of the booking. Foch guys did a lot of stuff. So I'll hand it over to you for tour.
Yeah, I mean, this was really difficult as two bands who have never been on tour before.
Us and Foe she's referring to.
Yeah, us and folks.
Just for some context,
Perfect.
us and Foch, who like we said, they're our best friends in the world. We share some live members. Stone's gonna be doing double duty. We're hitting like a 10 or so, give or take, show run of the Northeast just to kind of spread our legs a little bit. We've played a lot around Pennsylvania, and I've got us in West Virginia because I go to school here, and Joey in New Jersey. But we really wanted to start branching out, hit some of those other states, some of those other cities, and just do the thing. Just go and just send it. So it's about a 10 show run. We're probably going to announce it in the next day or two. So I guess by the time this sees the light of day, it will be announced.
Yes.
And it's us, it's our best friends. It's us and Foch at the beginning and middle of June, and a lot of DIY venues, a lot of cool spaces, completely booked ourselves, managed and planned ourselves, which Stone could get into. But yeah, that's just kind of the context of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fucking hard. That's all I can say. It's difficult because probably 80 to 85% of the time you reach out to a place, it's a miss. And it sucks being a band that's not signed to a label and like all of us broke as fuck because we're currently in college. Like I'm an RA when I'm at school because I can't afford to live out here, and like we fortunately had scholarship money cover for us, but like no money to pay for this. So we had to plan it as ergonomically as possible, and that was a pain in the ass because we really wanted to like make it look as full as possible, and became way more challenging than I think we expected it to be starting the booking. And like we started booking back in February or mid-February, I think. And we're like finding places, and I think for a while, like I especially had kind of unrealistic standards for what we could book. And after a while, I just like the last month, especially, I was in desperation mode, and Maddox was in desperation mode, and Luca from Foch was in desperation mode, and we're just like, fuck, we'll play anywhere. Like, we'll play at your grandma's funeral if we need to. We don't give a shit. Like anywhere. Just give us a venue. We almost played at a pool party up in Boston, but it didn't work out because we're playing a show in Rhode Island like the day that it was happening. But it would have been cool. And I kind of have like a newfound appreciation for booking shows. Like my notes app is just filled with names of people and people that run these pages, and like all of these small venues and bars, and it was really cool. But like trying to do that while being in school was a lot of work.
So
And
much. It was so much.
yeah, and like keeping a list of all these people who have gotten back to us, and most of the time it starts out with the word unfortunately parentheses. It's always unfortunately. And like we're trying to do this and finish out our year of school, and for Joey graduating. Um and like it comes back to the cell phone thing where it's a pain in the ass because we're all on our phones, just like copy pasting these messages to people, where I think for a while I was trying to book a show in Ohio, and for a good portion of time, I was copy and pasting the same message and changing the name of the band and finding like five bands at a time to send it to. And if one person responded to me, I would unsend the message to everybody else. And it's a terrible look. Like I probably shouldn't be a
Gnarly strategy, dude.
terrible strategy.
The
Just like
numbers game, man. You're in
it was
sales.
not.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and I mean, and most of the time I would get back, unfortunately, or like, hey, I'm really sorry, but like one person in the band can't do it that day. And it was fine because it worked out in the end. And the tour, like we're just grateful that we were able to book shows days in a row, as opposed to like our typical strategy where we play two shows in two states in one weekend, or like two shows across Pennsylvania in one weekend. It's just like a super cool feeling to know that we're in one state one day, and then another state the next day, and another state the next day. And we're probably going to have a lot of misses where people don't show up to these shows, and that's also fine. But I think we're just really excited for both bands to be able to have a tour put together where we're playing in cities that we really didn't think we would be playing in. Like I'm sure for Foch's case and ours, if you told us even a year and a half ago we were going on a DIY tour, I would say you're fucking lying to me. For one, how are we going to afford that? Two, who the hell is going to book us? And we got lucky. I mean, most of it was luck, but
Dude,
I'm really grateful that we're able to play these shows.
it's going to be so awesome. And so, we talked about, and I don't want to take anything away from your tour, but like these are going to be the moments that you remember forever.
Yeah.
No, regardless of what happens. Let's say like this band shits the bed. 2 years from now, you're like, Joey, I fucking hate you. Eat shit. Maddox, you're too smart for us. Go to hell. Like
He is
these,
going to
seriously.
hell anyways.
No, these moments are, and I have this quote, and I want to, my friends will vouch for me, but like I say I want to have this on my headstone when I die. It's all about the story, right? just take these moments what they are, just have fun. Like you guys are so young. This is the time when you can fail.
Hmm.
Like fucking fail hard. Like fail hard, eat shit, wake up the next day, eat shit again. Who cares? Like this is amazing. Like and I'm so happy for you guys. It's this is the time of your lives.
Yeah.
That's
And
kind of my thought
yeah,
process with this sort of thing is that again kind of going back to a lot of the bands, the bigger bands that we had talked to and given us advice, there was a common thread in their advice with everything. It was just like, just do it, go do the thing, go do a tour, no matter how shitty it is, like just do it, it will change your life.
yes.
And that's kind of where we're at. And your thoughts are kind of where I'm at. And I know a lot of us are of, yeah, this is the time to do it because Joey already graduated. Stone and I graduate next year and we're going to have a lot of decisions to make. And you know what? Yeah, we can go and run this tour. And if 5 people show up and we lose money, which is probably going to be the case and do that, who cares? This is the time to do it now before we have spouses and kids and mortgages and all this stuff sort of hitting you. The scariest thing that I've come to realize, or the scariest thing in my life, I think, would be me getting to like your age, get to 40, be 20 years down the line and be
Jesus
like,
Christ.
man, when I was 20, 21, 22, like, we had the opportunity to do some cool things with the band and I passed on them. I didn't do them. That's what's really scary to me is that kind of regret of like getting 20, 30 years down the line and being like, man, I could have done it and we didn't. And that regret scares the shit out of me. And
Mm.
so I'd rather do it now. Like you said, fail hard, fail really hard, but at least I can like, yeah, maybe the band does blow up and we hate each other, or maybe we release this album and it gets 3 streams and 2 people come to these shows this summer, but at least we did it then. You know what I
Yes.
mean? At least I can say like, all right, I tried it and it didn't work.
Dude, some of the stuff that I did when I was younger, like I think back, I'm like, holy shit, that was dumb, but I'm glad I did it. Like,
Yeah.
That's
in
all of us thinking about this right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's what our parents think about us doing this too.
well, listen, I had a sit down with I used to work at a company called Axelrad. I was in radio. I left radio for 3 years, worked at Axelrad. I went back to radio. Um, and I remember I sat her down. She was like 21, 22. Like she's like, there's like a party at the shop or something like that. I forget what it was. She's like, I don't know if I'm gonna go. And I'm like, listen, like you gotta go. Like, why? What else are you gonna do? You live at home with your parents. I'm like, you gotta go. You could meet your future husband tonight, or like you never know what's gonna happen. Like, go do it. Don't sit home and like be like, oh, like people. I think people get so much in their heads about like oh where I should be or in life or whatever it might be. I'm like, you gotta go. And then I just found out she's moving to Delaware. And my immediate thought was like, what the hell are you doing that for? But then I'm like, holy shit, I just went against everything I just said. Like, move, go try, go to a different state and just figure it out. If you don't figure it out, your parents are gonna take you back in. Like, it's not a problem. Like, it's gonna be awesome. Like, go explore, go do those things. And I think why I'm so passionate about that is because like I played it safe. Like, no, so I have a great life. I have a wife who is way out of my league. If you guys creep on my Facebook, go on my Facebook, like or my Instagram, whatever you guys are on these days. Out of my league. Way smarter than me, way too attractive for me, all the things, right? We have 2 beautiful children. I have a house I shouldn't even be living in. Like my life is great. But I played everything safe. I played it so safe. And I look back, I don't regret anything. I had a lot of fun. I did a lot of things, but like I played it safe. And I encourage people that when they're young, like fuck off.
Mm.
Do it. Your parents aren't gonna fucking like if you come back a year later, like, oh hey mom and dad, like I blew it. They're gonna be like, ah, well, tough shit. Good luck.
Mm.
Like they're not gonna do that. Like just take the risks. Write the songs, play the shows, travel the world.
Yeah.
That's exactly where we're at. And I think we're super thankful to have that support system with our parents and our families. And we're also super thankful that we all have had the opportunity to go to college, get our degrees, even if Stone doesn't know what he wants to do, or we don't know what we want to do, or it's switching every day. It's like we have that kind of thing that even if we do go fuck off, even if we do go quote unquote not play it safe, we have a little bit of a fail safe. We have a little bit of a backup there. So like e- even that in our back pockets is just more fuel to the fire, I feel like, to just do it, to go
Yeah.
do it. Because it's like the world's not gonna end if the band breaks up, if this tour loses money, if the album does shit, if like the world
Who
still turns, the time
cares?
still passes.
Who cares? Do it.
Mhm.
You guys, I'm pumped for you guys. I'm so pumped for you guys. I really am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
am.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
fired up
this
now just talking about it.
dude,
Yeah.
I told you, I get in this like this local music, and I fucking love it. Like I'm like I want everyone to make it, right? I don't Unfortunately, not everyone can, but who knows?
Yeah, it's
We
just
had
it's nice to even think about the possibility of like having, well, not the possibility, but just like having respect within members of the scene too is
yeah,
rewarding because you're at least doing something right, and you'll be if we're remembered by just our fucking parents, that's like enough for us because it's badass that we were even able to start a band together. And like when we started, I don't think we had any idea that we would still be playing together to this day. I think even before we wrote the singles that we put out in 2023, we thought like maybe that would be the end of the road. We had not a damn clue what was going to happen. So being able to be where we're at right now and like have an album coming out and go on a shitty DIY tour where we all smell terrible and eat shitty food from Wawa for like 10 days straight, like that's so
Sleeping in
fucking fun.
basements. Yeah.
Yeah.
we so you talk about and this is about the last story about myself, Hope. But like I was never a musician, but so I would travel with bands. The band in particular was called Lesson One. The record was for sale at Gallery of Sound back in 2006, right? Um, I remember I went on tour, right? They had like a well, I should say tour. They had like a weekend show, actually maybe just a day. But I did like an article for the Weekender. I used to work there back in '06, and they had like two shows back to back. One was the first one was at the beach on the beach, and then was a bar like maybe a half hour away. I so I wrote a story for that. I had sushi for the first time. We talked about throwing a brick through a subway because we were so hungry and the subway was closed. Like we got lost and the cops pulled us over and they're like, "What's going on?" Like, and they gave us directions to get home. In that one night, like there's so many memories of that moment. Like it just it's again going back to what I said. Just do it. Just embrace it. Enjoy it. Just fucking live it. You know.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's where I was going with that story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like some of the shows we've played, I think collectively we have some like relatively outrageous stories or just
Good.
things that we've seen
Just
on
inside
on
jokes.
It's
Yeah.
all
yeah,
about it's
inside
all
jokes.
about the story. Telling you.
Yeah, I mean things we've seen like driving to these shows or um like
At the
we
show.
actually had a really funny show at the V spot where we played with
Do you play
Channel
the V spot?
75. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We played there
Hell yeah.
back in like
Shout out Vinny.
November, I think.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And there was an old guy, older.
Oh, this story.
It was so fucking funny, sitting right by the stage.
Right in front of
And
me. I was locking eyes with him.
yeah, and we started playing, and the second we started playing, this was his face. And then he got up out of his seat and he left the bar.
Fuck 'em.
It
That was
was,
awesome.
oh my God, it was actually
It
awesome.
was so funny. It was so funny.
Like if I ever saw that guy again, I would probably shake his hand.
On top of that, though, I think one of the crazy, like we've had crazy moments. I think the one time we played out at 123 Pleasant in West Virginia, that was the first time ever where like this was one of the craziest moments in my life. I saw somebody singing the words to one of the songs that I had no idea who they were. And I was like, what? Like, I get if my brother knows the words or my mom
Sure.
knows the words. Like, I
Yeah.
get that. Or like, the guys in Foch know the words. Like, that makes sense. Like, they're kind of obligated to. Um, but like, this was a stranger that like I I I locked eyes with them, and I could see them saying the words along with me as I was saying them, and I almost like freaked out. Like I almost broke down on stage. It was hard for me to keep it together. Like it was in just like it like that like moments like that I'm just
Yeah.
never going to forget ever. And that's why we do this. Like
Yeah.
of like playing the shows are so much fun. Like Stone and Maddox have become some of my best friends. Like I've met so many amazing people, and like this is why we're doing it. Like it's not like we're if Kansas had trees, we're not the Rolling Stones. Like like we're doing this for us,
Not yet.
and
Not yet.
We're close.
not yet. Um,
I mean, let's face it, there will never be, and I say this a lot too, that there will never be a band at that level. I
no,
just don't think that there'll never be, enjoy Pearl Jam while they're still around, because that's like the last of the like that kind of group that could pull that kind of those numbers. But
Yeah,
I'm
all the
sorry,
other singers are dead, unfortunately.
but but yeah. So you're not the Stones yet.
No, we never will be.
And that's okay. That's
one day
okay.
they'll refer to us as the trees.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from? If Kansas had trees,
Oh,
like,
this
Shit.
are there no trees in Kansas? I've never been,
the,
so maybe the
I'm
Twisters take
usually
them away.
I'm usually contracted to give the story. Should I just run it?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm like the token guy who explains it, because we get this, as you can probably imagine, we get this question quite often.
Sure.
So it started before we were ever a band, before a band was ever a thought. It was um we're coming back from New Jersey, Wildwood, I think, and it was me, Stone, and then Nico from Foch in the car. We're coming back from New Jersey from a trip to Wildwood while we were all in high school. Again, before any of the bands even started. And there was a really bad accident on the highway, so the GPS took us on some back road through New Jersey. And I don't know if you have any people from New Jersey, sorry, but this is like halfway in New Jersey dis. It was a really awful place it took us through. I mean, like church windows were boarded up. There was stuff all over the ground. We were like, what is going on? This is not where we want to be. And Stone, the man, he always is a way with words, a poet. He like leans up into the front seat where Nico and I are, and he goes, "Man, this place is kind of a shithole. I don't like the vibes of it. The vibes I get are just like if Kansas had trees or something." And Nico and I look at him, we're like, what does that mean? Why is that the comparison that comes to your? Who makes
Yeah,
that
where did that come
comparison?
from?
You are spitting some nonsense right now, and then we just kind of attribute it to another crazy Stone thing that Stone says, and whatever. We brushed it off. Then a little bit of silence, and like 5 minutes later, it was like, that'd be like a really funny band name, right? And so that was it, and that was the end of that bit. And then a little while later, we first, started playing with Joey, and we're like, okay, we need a name. And I think it was almost joking at first, but then it just stuck. It's like, I guess, or like, let's just rip if Kansas had trees.
Let me
And
correct you. Let me correct you.
oh, I guess I told her wrong.
You did, because before we even like picked up a set of drumsticks and a guitar, we were in Joey's dad's lesson facility, Rockology, and we were in the like practice room. And I don't even think we started playing yet or writing anything. And we were like, by the way, we have a band name. It's If Kansas Had Trees.
Oh,
And
yeah, you're right. It was predetermined. Joey
yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
a choice.
I didn't have any input. They were like, "We're starting a band where if Kansas had trees," and I'm like, "Okay."
I thought this band was breaking up at this moment.
Yeah.
if
Yeah, we
Max,
were.
like,
That's the start. We're gonna
if
have
you,
a
if you
long
were flying the wall and saw that, you'd be like, "These guys have like a year, maybe."
no, these Stones like, no, you're wrong, Maddox, you're
You are
wrong.
wrong.
You're wrong, and fuck you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I
exactly.
think it's important that the relationships that we have with each other, because we do fight. It's not like we, but
Hey, you're a family. It's
Exactly.
exact. But
We're
there's
also like too close with each other too, where it's just really
We'll call each other's bullshit is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I've been playing with Stone since he was 13, since I was 16. Like, and Maddox have been friends with him since middle school. We know almost everything about each other. So, like, when something happens, like Stone will get mad at something. I'm like, it's gonna be like Stone will be mad about this. We have to let him be mad about it for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back. We'll come back to this.
It's
Or like,
usually outrageous too. Like, but and it always stems from like some bullshit fight that Maddox and I have.
Because we're so
And then
stubborn.
and we draw Joey into it.
That's
I'm
how it
always the
happens.
mediator, it
That's
seems.
how it happens.
Oh,
And it is over the stupidest shit. I mean, like the
That's life.
most.
That's life.
Mhm.
That's
But Maddox and I have been doing this since like the day I walked out. So I switched schools, which was how I met Maddox. The day I walked into homeroom in 7th grade, and he saw me, I was wearing this ridiculous fucking toucan shirt. I think it was like
Fruit
almost
Loops. Fruit Loops.
no, it was like a Hollister toucan shirt or something.
Okay.
It was terrible. And like almost the moment him and I became friends, it was just like an instant thing where it just turned into bickering, just constant
Do
bickering.
you like toucans? Yep. Do we just become best friends? Yep.
Yep, yep.
It's yeah. I agree with Joey. The personal relationships we have underlying the band. I mean, kind of, like he said, these are, they're like my best friends, and I think that makes it a lot of fun to. It makes writing a lot of fun. It's gonna make this tour a lot of fun. It makes wherever this is gonna go a lot of fun, knowing that like we get to share this like it's not just purely business. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like I get to share this with my friends.
100%.
Mhm.
When does the tour kick off?
June
June
8th, I
8th,
think,
the
in
day
Prov-
after the album comes out up in Providence, and then hitting all through the Northeast. And then last one kind of separate from that, we kind of mentioned it earlier, is we're super stoked to be on One Step Closer's album release show here in Kingston with Koyo and Arm's Length and Choice to Make. That one is
Oh,
going to
shit.
be awesome. That's kind of going to round out our June.
All right, so real quick, we're recording today is the 23rd of May. This will probably release on June 7th. So when this releases, you'll be going on tour the next
That's
day.
badass.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow, going on tour.
You're going on tour tomorrow, Future Maddox.
And
Yeah.
album just dropped.
Album just
Al-
dropped.
al-
I hope
album
it has
drop-
more than 3 streams.
Album's out today.
Yeah.
Today, go stream it. Is it going to be for sale at the Gallery of Sound?
Yeah, so we're
Fuck
hoping to
yeah.
have CDs in time, but we're also getting vinyl, and that's going to be definitely in by July. So
Yeah.
Vinyl, guys. I don't know. I mean, vinyl has saved record stores. So
Yeah.
shout out vinyl, okay?
Yeah, dead ass.
I'm not going to shit on vinyl for that reason. Mad
you
love.
you can't shit on vinyl with me in the room.
No, mad love for vinyl, mad love for Gallery of Sound. I feel guilty every day or every time that I see your dad because I probably help pay. Well, I not probably. I know I help pay for some of your tuition, Joey. So before I had children, I would be at your dad's place every fucking week. I was probably dropping. It's not a huge number, but $200 a month. I would walk in there without even like having something I wanted to buy. I would sift through the used stuff just to see what was around. I would buy stuff based on CD covers. It didn't matter. I would buy DVDs that I didn't need. Like, so when I started, when I had kids, I'm like, I can't continue spending $200 a month on CDs and DVDs. I just can't. I fought for so long and so hard to not get Spotify account, but I had to give it,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry for that.
I mean, the one thing I will say is like, as much as it fucking sucks because they pay us nothing,
Right.
it like Spotify really put us on the map. And it was one of those things where like them having the algorithmic playlists and us being fortunate to get into editorials was like had those things not existed, zero chance we would have an album coming out. Like
Right.
just realistically, those things, like knowing that there are people like Joey said who we don't know who enjoy our music across the states and like, you know, very very minutely but globally is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
really sucks because they pay us like not even a tenth of a penny per stream
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
But like I owe it to Spotify in a way. Like even though they take they even take money from us when we promote our music through Spotify. So it really just fucking sucks. But like the nice thing is hopefully that hopefully the boost we get from being on the streaming services, like maybe people will go to the Gallery of Sound website and check out our vinyl, and maybe someone's gonna buy one and we'll ship it to wherever. And like,
or they'll come to a show.
yeah, I mean either or, like that's fucking sick.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say a vinyl's stupid. I
Hey,
just said it.
but you said it yourself. We're young. Let us fail. Let us be stupid.
No. So this is a 41-year-old man saying it's stupid. You're gonna sell vinyl because there are hipsters, there are people who
Hell yeah.
like,
Yes.
oh, vinyl sounds better than anything else in
It
the
does.
world. It's like
It
it
does.
doesn't.
Yeah, come
It
on.
doesn't. It fucking doesn't.
With my
Joey.
wired Audio Technica headphones.
It doesn't sound better. It doesn't. Like I can't stand that. That's why I get so mad, right? It doesn't sound fucking
CDs
better.
sound the best.
God
CDs
damn it.
do sound the best.
CDs, exactly. You can't get better than that. Anyone's gonna try and tell me differently, shut the fuck up. Don't, no.
Yeah.
But so what I appreciate, and that's why I also bought CDs for so long too, was like I loved opening it because I bought CDs, Joey, seriously, for probably 2 years. I would buy CDs from your dad's store. I would take it home, I would put it on I rip it to my computer, I would transfer it to my iPod, and then the CD would go on my shelf. I have a pristine CD collection because it was literally opened, inserted in the computer, put back in the jewel case, and then back on the shelf.
I have
So
my
I'm not
iPod
trying
right
to,
here.
yeah, but I'm not trying to like have a book of 250 pages with CDs.
CDs do sound better. I gotta agree.
They do. But what I'm saying is like I
Mhm.
would still buy them, and then I would just put them on my iPod. That's how like dedicated I was. So your education, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I got a couple college credits with your name on it.
Sweet.
I mean, listen,
No, but
I still have my iPod. I mean, we're still doing the same thing back
yeah,
in the Nardone household. I mean, the CD rack at the Nardone house is a
I bet.
designated closet in our entire home is for CDs.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Joe, real quick, did you ever feel some kind of pressure to um and this is not like I'm not trying to like force you to say like, oh yeah, my dad made me play music, but like coming from such a music intensive, like your grandfather, I don't know if your dad ever played, I'm sure he played some kind of instrument, right? But like, I mean, you had a record store like in your family for 50 years. Like, was there a pressure for you to like, well, I can't not do something?
well, I mean, I've been working at the store since I'm 10 years old. Um, don't tell
I was gonna say we're calling someone in about
Yo.
that.
Yeah,
Now wait a minute.
don't
I
call the
want to,
government.
well, you know what? Real quick, I tried getting a job at the Dallas location. I used to live in Hunlock Creek, Sweet Valley. The process of trying to get a job at the Gallery of Sound was very hard. You had to take a test.
Back
And I'm like,
then,
I don't know. I don't know all these answers to these like classic rock questions. I'm fucking 16 years old. Like, I just love music. Let me, and I failed.
Yeah. The test, yeah, you were going at the peak then.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's never been a pressure. I mean, it's
Right.
just something that I've been around my entire life. Like I went to a Jimmy Eat World concert in a papoose like on my mother when I was 2.
That's awesome.
Like my first concert when I was 2 years old. Like I saw
Gotta kiss
King
the Wiggles.
Yeah.
um I
What was
saw
your
Kings
first
of
show?
Leon at Montage Mountain when I was definitely way too young. Like, um, that was like one of the first shows I actually remember. I mean, I've been to hundreds of shows, and
Right.
like, it's just something I've been around forever. And like it actually started. I mean, I started playing the piano when I was younger. Maybe I was forced into that, but like I liked it. It was fun.
We don't use the word
Um,
forced, so we're just encouraged.
yeah, and like it. I mean, once I started playing the guitar, it became more of like my own thing. Like I mean, not that it was never my own thing. Like I played the saxophone in the elementary school band because my grandfather played the saxophone, and like that was something that was really cool. Like we would have guitar lessons, we would have saxophone lessons in my basement with my grandfather. Like that was awesome. That's something I'll never forget. But like once I started playing guitar and I started learning songs like that, I was learning like group love songs on the guitar, like Vance Joy songs on guitar, and
Dance
that
show is
like
awesome.
yeah, and like that became like my own thing. And then like I mean, I'm so lucky my dad like then he started rockology and I started playing with the band and we started playing all over Wilkes-Barre and everything. Um so yeah, I mean no, I never felt pressured, but it's something that I think they say nature versus nurture. I think I might have been nurtured into music.
Sure.
But I also think it's definitely part of who I am, and I don't like. And then I went to school at Seton Hall, WSOU's the radio station there, and what was so cool about that place was that it felt like almost an extension of the Gallery of Sound. Like you go to the Gallery of Sound, you're in the warehouse or you're in the back, and there's like golden records on the wall, or there's like signed posters by Breaking Benjamin, and there's a picture of my parents with Lenny Kravitz in my basement. Like there's all these things that are like crazy, and I got to that radio station, and it's the same exact thing.
Mhm.
Like Slipknot golden records on the wall. Like Pantera 50th anniversary is on the wall. Like, and it's just like it's smelled the same. Like there's CDs in racks everywhere, and it's like, all right, this is home. This is the same exact place. Um, so yeah, now that I'm back home, no longer at SOU, it's like I'm looking for that next thing.
Well, I hope that record stores never go away. Um,
Same.
and well, yeah, obviously, right? But like, 'cause it's part of your family. Regardless of the financial gain or whatever, it's part of your family. It's like if that ever went away, like that, just it would be very very upsetting, right? But like I know, and I mean, I've taken my son has been to record store day. He was I think like two. I have great photos of him listening to Alma Mater, I think it was. This is probably 2018, 2019. But like
Shout out
I
Vinny.
my what's that?
Shout out
Shout out
Vinny.
Vinny, and who's in Alma
Yeah,
Mater.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe he was. I don't know I don't know what's going on there. But um oh no, Vinny, yeah, yeah. I was thinking Ryan. Uh is he still in it? I forget.
I know Vinny's playing with James Barrett now.
Yes.
Oh, we're doing good things, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
we are on Good Things Fest. Yeah.
Good Things Fest. Hell yeah. What is and that's like August like what, 10th?
10th, I
9th?
believe.
Yeah.
Stacked
I will
lineup.
be out of town. I
Maybe
gotta
we
tell
can
James
live
Barrett.
stream it.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you though. So
No, no,
your
no,
son
no,
was
no,
at
no.
record store day.
No, I mean, I have so many fond memories of like I remember walking into the Gallery Sound when I was in the Wyoming Valley Mall. Um, and John Mayer. This is probably 2001. John Mayer's first album. No, not first. It was the first album that made him like put him on the map on the speakers. I'm like, who's this guy? They're like, oh, it's John Mayer. I'm like, I want the CD. Do you have it? They're like, yes, here you go. And I'm like, perfect, awesome. I remember walking into the Gallery of Sound that was in the Edwardsville Shopping Center, not the main strip, but like the it was I don't
Next
know
to
what it
Grotto.
is. So not that one. So well, maybe. So because there was like three different locations in the Gateway Shopping Center.
Yeah.
There was but like it was like where Costello's is now, or I don't know what it is now. I haven't been down that way in fucking forever. But um Jack's Mannequin, my friend Brianna Mayan worked there. Jack's Mannequin's playing. I'm like, Brianna, who's this? Oh, it's Jack's Mannequin. I'm like, I want this. She's like, here you go. I saw so Lifer, local band in this area. I saw their record release was that night. It was a midnight release at Gallery Sound. 97.9X. It may have been 93.7 at the time. I forget what the frequency was before that. It was Freddie Fabry, and it was a huge line. He's like, "Who wants to get to the front of the line? Show me your tits, girl." Shirt up, right? So I'm right next to her. I'm like, "Holy shit, there's some titties." Gallery Sound, like, so I have
Were you at the
fond.
drowning pool show?
I was not at that. No,
Ah.
no. But what I'm getting at is I have fond memories of the Gallery Sound. Like, and it kills me to this day that I'm not there every week or every other week or ever at all. It does hurt me. Like I
Yeah.
showing it
I
to you, and it just
I feel like for every younger local musician, or almost all of us, we have like fond memories of some kind at the Gallery of Sound. Because for me, I got my first two CDs ever, which I'll embarrassingly admit was the Blue Album by Weezer, and this one's a fine one, Blondie Greatest Hits. And I got those when I was like 5, and they were used CDs for maybe like a quarter to $1 or something, and it was at the Edwardsville one, and like and then Maddox and I started getting into collecting vinyl, and like had we not been able to go to the gallery, not a damn chance our vinyl collections would look as nice as they are now
yeah.
if it didn't exist. And like it sucks to see that the vinyl industry and like CD industry kind of took like that big ass hit in the 2010s, but it was refreshing to see a resurgence. And like looking back on it now, yeah, we're kind of fucking stupid for getting vinyl, but like,
No, because it's still fucking cool. Like, I
oh,
mean,
it's so cool. That's
from
what I'm saying. Like,
artistically, yes, it's
yeah,
awesome.
like it's awesome that we have these physical copies
It's
that,
fucking
like you
dumb.
said,
Sounds like
someone's going to
garbage.
buy it.
Sounds good garbage.
What?
What
Sounds
happened?
like garbage. Not really.
No, dude, trust me. On the vinyl, you can hear Maddox cough in the middle of his take. Trust me, just adds to it, man. Trust.
You can hear on some of the songs, you can hear me like stomping in the background when you turn the volume all the way up. If I'm listening to the CD, I during like the end of Anything Right, when it's just Maddox's guitar, I hear we recorded with Joe Loftus,
Wait, are you
and
serious?
I'm dead serious. Like I hear myself stomping on my hi-hat pedal. Very
Oh.
faint, very, very faint, but I was stomping because I was keeping time. And I'm curious to see if I can still hear it on vinyl, because I like CDs more, but I don't have money for a really nice CD player. So I don't know what to do about that. Someone buy our vinyl, because then I'll be able to afford one.
My my dad. This is my last Gallery Sound story. My dad. My dad passed away on June 13th, 2005. It was Monday. Foo Fighters came out on June 14th, I believe. It had to have been the next day. Yeah, June 14th. I stopped at Gallery Sound to buy the double disc Foo Fighters In Your Honor album on CD. And I'll never forget that day. That was like my dad died the day prior to that. And people were probably like, you went to a record store the day after your dad died?" For me, that was like therapeutic. And I'm telling that story because like that's how much I think a record store means to people. It's not just a record. It's not just a CD. It's not just like an object. It's a moment. It's a memory. It's an experience. It's so many things. So thank you to your father. Thank you to your grandfather. And I hope that no matter what happens, as much as the world changes, and we have to try to navigate the digital internet landscape, I hope that there'll always be a record store in the community, especially ours, because I think it's very important. So it's my last story about record stores.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean,
it's I'll never forget those moments. Again, all about the story. It's all about those moments that you can't create them. They just happen. And I think that's what happens a lot with society today is like we try and manufacture all of these moments. Think about gender reveals and bachelorette parties and bachelor parties. Like you see all these things on TikTok and all this other shit, and it's like, oh, I want to go do that. And instead of just living in the moment and just having a fucking party or having like your family in front of you or around you, like you're trying to like, manufacture these things, and it's fake, it's hollow, it's not real.
Mhm.
So what I'm getting at is
One
just
of
fucking
some
just
of the best nights I've had at college were not when we're like, oh, we got to go to this place because this bar is cool. It's when we're sitting around, have no idea what to do, and
Best.
we just end up figuring out something. Oh, maybe we'll go to a bar, or maybe we'll go somewhere, or maybe we just stay home and just drink. Like those were by
best
far
times.
the best nights. Not when
It's
it's
the
like,
unknown. It's the
yeah,
unknown.
yeah. And
And that's
I
why
think same with shows too. It's like we go into
unknown.
shows and it's like we have no idea what we're gonna expect. It's like
It's the
oh
best.
we know a couple people that are coming, but we've never played this place before. Like what's it like? And then it's like the best. Like we play like 1, 2, 3 Pleasant or like that. I remember that's like a crazy show. Or anytime we play in West Virginia is always fun. Or
Yeah.
like
The Pittsburgh, we played a show where we were in an office building,
yeah.
and they did live recording because it was Pittsburgh's entertainment district's building, and they like cleared out one of the biggest room, and it was on the second story of a building on our like most dense street on the University of Pittsburgh's college campus. And I was like, I hope people come because this is the first time we're playing in Pittsburgh. And that show was like unreal. And it got like concerning a while into the show because there were so many people there and people were jumping and the floor started to dip inwards
Nice.
right in the middle. I was like, dude,
Nice.
we're going to destroy this place.
Hell yeah.
And I'll never forget that. It was so much fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's incredible. Like even some of the shows where no one shows up, they're just kind of funny because then we get to fuck around.
Yeah.
And like that's fun to do sometimes because no
Yeah.
matter the outcome of your performance, and like of course we still want to play well and be presentable, but when we don't have any pressure to play like, note for note, being like between 0 and 1 like a computer, it's like it's so much fun just to fuck around. And sometimes I remember those shows more than I do the like
Absolutely.
average shows or the good ones.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Mhm.
I had something I wanted to say and I lost it, but like it just I think music in general has that thing about it. It has a way to connect you to a moment, especially like I could tell I had this weird, stupid talent, I'll call it quote unquote talent. Where if I have the album, if I have the CD, I can tell you um when a song or album was released to the day or within the week. The Foo Fighters story was real. I had my phone just to kind of confirm it, but obviously it was tied to my dad passing away. But like, there's music has this ability to just kind of create this like glue or something like just to a moment, to a time, to a girlfriend or a family member or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
Just and I think that's an amazing thing about music in general. It's just a powerful, powerful thing.
Yeah.
There are so many albums that, like, if I hear one song off of Lonesome Crowded West by Modest Mouse, I'm immediately put back in like sophomore year of high school in my basement alone playing GTA 5, just listening to that album on repeat.
I love it.
Yeah.
Modest
Maddox.
Mouse sucks live though.
What?
Modest Mouse,
Those are
Modest
fighting
Mouse
words. Those
sucks
are fighting
live.
words.
I will,
Slap.
I will fight you.
Whoa.
They suck live. Terrible band.
What?
It's fucking noise.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
I love Modest Mouse.
Fucking
And
worst band
live.
live ever.
I've seen him live like 4 times.
Wasting money.
Oh my God. I saw
Yo, get Joey fired up.
one of the best shows I've ever seen was when they played Lonesome Carter West all the way through live.
Here we go.
One of the best shows I've ever seen them play was when they were done before they were playing for the Black Keys.
Oh my God, that's a cool show. Modest Mouse Black Keys. But wow.
Yeah, Modest Mouse sucked. Fucking noise, dude. It was such noise. I'm like, this is fucking terrible. My ears hurt. This is awful.
It depends. It might be. You might have been there when Isaac Brock was like dangerously on drugs or something. Because there's a lot of shows where that's the case.
What year was that? Fuck. What year was that? 2017 or 18? Horrible. I'm a Modest Mouse fan. I am. Put on the CD. Cool. I'm a fan of this. Live, fucking terrible.
Wow. I listened to the live album. Baron Von Bullshit Rides Again.
I'm sorry. Why would you do that yourself?
Dude, I think one of the first songs Joey and I ever learned together collectively was "Float On," and
great song. Great song.
Excellent song. But it's just like it's so funny because, when Joey sang when he was 16 and I was like 14, his voice was deeper than it is now because he used to sing Johnny Cash songs, and then every time my family members would come out to see us play, especially my grandma, she says, "Oh, are you going to sing Johnny Cash today?" And I go, "No, I don't think so." She's like, "Oh, thank God. I hate when you guys do Johnny Cash." I was like, "All right, come on."
That's great. Who hears my voice though and is like, you should be singing Johnny Cash?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
listen to our album. I'm like 3 octaves above that.
Yeah.
How do we go from Modest Mouse sound like dick to Joey can't sing Johnny Cash?
This
I
is
can
how
still do it.
rehearsals go too.
Wolf.
This is how rehearsals go. Very quickly, hard left on the topics.
It's okay.
A lot of times, all right, guys, let's play a song.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's one of those things. I love the fact that we're approaching 2 hours. I love it. I seriously, I swear to God, I do. I love this. I love the fact that we're it's almost 2 hours continuously. Like there's no like no awkward pauses, shit like that. Again, talking about real life shit. You know, we're talking about your tour, your new album coming out June 7th, Joey's dad's place and the connection that, like that business and music kind of creates. But I get worried that no one's listening at this point, right?
Yeah.
Attention spans are terrible, right? But I do this for me too. So I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
You're young kids. You probably got more fun things to do than fucking talk to me.
All right, this was awesome. I was looking forward to this all week. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Collectively were.
No, and I didn't know what to expect. Like again, I've known of Joey. I've never talked to him at length at all, or I've never sent 2 words to you. Know your dad. Obviously, Maddox reached out to me, but Stone seemed like a really nice kid, and I wish all of you guys the best of luck with it. Whatever you guys choose to do. I really, honest to God, like.
Thank you so much.
I hope you guys make it. I said it before. I hope you guys fucking write that one fucking song and TikTok hits and it fucking takes you to the Ariana Grande fucking level, right?
Underwall dimension.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, that's probably a better. Yeah. I mean,
Ariana Grande is fucking amazing too.
Yeah,
but...
Joey's got that high voice. Get up there. Hit them whistle notes, Joey.
But I wish you guys the best.
Thank you.
New album, June 7th. You got a tour coming up. You're going to be on the tour the next day, June 8th. You have a show on June 27th, which we really haven't talked about too much. So I want you to talk about that a little bit really quick. I know June 27th is with One Step Closer. Talk about that show real quick, and then we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, so One Step Closer is a band that I kind of mentioned earlier. We have been able to become pretty good friends with those guys, and there's definitely a really cool dynamic of us of not just friendship, but there's also a little bit of a mentor, almost like a big brother sort of relationship there. They have given us so much advice. Ross and Ryan have given us so much advice on things from as little to like merch decisions to, we were in the process of maybe signing to a label a little while ago and talking us through that. And they've just put on for us a lot, and we're incredibly thankful for that. And so we got asked to hop on their record release show for their new album, which is awesome, awesome new album. And yeah, it's June 27th. It's at Doug's Boardroom. It's an absolutely stacked lineup. We got us, Choice to Make Them One Step Closer as the Wilkes-Barre kind of bands, and then Koyo and Arm's Length, who are also like really strong forces in the scene right now. Definitely worth the listen. Great energy live. That show is going to be crazy. We're looking forward to people jumping, people moshing, people diving, people surfing. It's just going to be a super fun night. There's tickets available online for that, and that one is going to be a great way to wrap up what we think is going to be an awesome June with the album and the tour.
Yeah, Market Street in Kingston. That's where
Yes.
that venue is located. Shout out Kate Kishbaugh, her
Yeah, shout out
her
Kate.
stepdad or her mother's husband runs that place. Really cool venue. Choice to Make. Shout out Caleb. He's been on this
Shout out
podcast.
Caleb. We love
Shout out
Caleb.
Caleb,
We
dude.
love Caleb.
Caleb's been on this podcast before. One step.
I've listened to that episode. I love that episode. I listened to that episode all the way
He
through.
was so I used to work with Caleb. I used to work with Kate,
Excellent.
right? Yeah. And Caleb was great. He's such a cool dude. I interviewed One Step Closer back in January 21st, 2022, episode 67. Their song they released, well, I think the album's out now, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Giants Despair
Oh, that
is
song is so
the
good.
best song that they've ever recorded.
It's ridiculous. It's so good.
They have horns in it. It's like, where did that even fucking come from? God
Mhm.
damn it. Such a
That
great song.
yeah, that drop at the end.
Ugh. Yeah, and those are cool dudes, like you said. Ryan. I don't know if you heard that episode or not. Ryan, I used to live across the street from Ryan back in from 2010 to 2016, and at that time, Ryan was a fucking young kid. I remember hearing him skateboard outside the house. Yeah, that was literally what year is it? 14 years ago. So he was probably like fucking 7 or whatever the fuck age he is. Like he was young kid. I remember hearing the bands in the basement in his parents' house. Yeah, great band. One Step Closer. So yeah, so that's an awesome show. June 27th, Doug's
Yeah.
Boardroom. And then again, the album released June 7th and tour starting June 8th. So, guys, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. This
Thank
is
you for having us on.
so much fun. Like
Yeah.
this is probably kind of a longer episode than I'm used to. I try to keep them within an hour, but I think we had a lot of fun to just talk about the
Mhm.
band and talk about life and hopefully maybe I kind of gave you some life advice.
Oh, a lot of perspective. Yeah. A
Not
lot of
perspective. Just
A lot of
fucking
advice.
guys, just fucking have fun. It's
Mhm.
all about the story. Like
It's all about where you thought you would be.
yeah, it all kind of fucking it all really does tie back to that. And listen, and that's all perspective too. Like you think about it now, and like a year from now that could be different, or 5 years from now that could be different. It's a great song title and great kind of thought process. So I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
I probably won't be at your show on the 27th unless I can convince my wife. It's our anniversary.
Oh,
Don't go to the show.
Totally
Don't go to the show.
Not go to the
Don't
show.
go to the show.
I would rather go to the fucking show. And it's a Thursday though, so maybe what we can do. Like I can convince her to want to do like a Saturday,
Yeah.
like a dinner. Like let's say
Mhm.
let's do sexy time on Saturday, and I can go to the show on a Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna mark that in my calendar right this very second. And,
We'll have more though.
Yeah, we'll be around.
but it's a good spot. It's a good band. One Step Closer,
Mhm.
you guys. So, but yeah, keep me posted. Best
Yeah.
of luck to you guys.
Thank
Stick
you.
around for like 30 seconds after we I hit stop, and then I'll let you guys go.
Awesome.
Where
Thank you
can
so
people
much for
find you
having us on.
online? Real quick, where can people find you online?
At If Kansas Had Trees on Instagram, at If Kansas Had Trees on TikTok, if that's more your fancy, and
At IKHT_WB on Twitter. And then if Kansas had trees on all streaming platforms.
No one's
Yes.
going to Twitter. That sounds way too much. Say that again. IFTWB. What the fuck?
Just type in if Kansas had trees, and no
Yeah,
one
we're
else
there.
has said that ever.
Yeah,
So-
no, that has not been said in a tweet ever before until we came around.
We're on Twitter at IFTCDD. What?
IKHT.
Guys, thank you. This has been great, and I wish you
Thank
guys
you.
nothing but the best of luck.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, we'll
Like-
see you.